From the Opepco Studios in Oklahoma City, this is a special edition of the Press Row. I'm Jenny Carlson here with Barry Trammell. It's a special edition, Barry, because lo and behold, Oklahoma State has named a quarterback. True freshman Wes Lunt has got the nod. Are you surprised by this?
I'm not overly surprised that they picked Wes Lunt. I thought they might go with J.W. Walsh, but it was clear, the last week or two of spring practice that the momentum was swinging Wes Lunt's way. Mike Gundy talked extensively about how impressed he was with Lunt and talked about the pros and cons of using a true freshman quarterback. So, we saw the signs, and Oklahoma State's pulled the trigger.
Yeah, Oklahoma State, they talked after the spring game about making an announcement probably on Wednesday. That was the day that the offensive coaches were going to get together. Wednesday came and went, and we didn't hear anything, and I think we all kind of thought that, well, this was a decision that was going to wait until the fall. But then Thursday morning, day after, we get news that Wes Lunt has been named the starter. Apparently Todd Monken called him in on Thursday and told him the news. And, Barry, I guess I'm not totally surprised it's Wes Lunt. To me, it speaks pretty strongly to how much they believe in him, because if you're going to go from Brandon Whedon to a true freshman Wes Lunt, there's a little bit of risk there. I mean, you're basically saying we're putting this offense in the hands of a guy that could be going to prom if he was still in high school. I mean, there's some risk here.
He's a month and a day away from his high school graduation. He's 10 years to the month younger than Brandon Whedon. Brandon Whedon born in October '83, Wes Lunt born in October '93. But there's some positives here. He's the classic drop-back quarterback in the Brandon Whedon mode. Mike Gundy and Todd Monken have been telling us for a year or so they want to stay with this offense. They don't want to go back to the previous. Nothing wrong with the previous offense with the run option Zach Robinson provided and Bobby Reed before him. But they like this Dana Holgorsen installed offense. They kept saying this is what we want to build around, and picking Wes Lunt shows they were telling us the truth.
Well, and part of this, I think, too, is setting up reps in the fall. I mean, we heard in the spring that basically with Clint Shelf, J.W. Walsh, and Wes Lunt, they were all getting the same amount of snaps, so a third. And we heard all this talk about how much Wes Lunt was improving as the spring went on. I think they now want to see if he gets 75% of the snaps, which is what we're guessing he probably will in the fall. How much more can he improve? Obviously, if he comes out and it's not a good performance in the first couple games, they may make a change. But I think they want to see how he does with that increased practice time. I think it's also interesting that they did this, Barry, on the day that two of their most beloved players in the history of the program could get drafted. Kind of odd to do this on the day of the NFL draft.
That's the one I totally don't understand. Some people have speculated they picked it on this day, the day Whedon and Blackman could get drafted. They picked this day to shed, sort of take the spotlight off of Wes Lunt, take the scrutiny off the decision. But I don't know why you'd want to do that. There's not a lot of scrutiny here. I mean, it was clear that the three quarterbacks were fairly even and you had to pick one. I don't think OSU fans are necessarily going to be upset. I don't think the media is going to be upset. I mean, I think it's a solid choice, and people say, hey, interesting pick. Let's move forward and see where Wes Lunt goes. I do think it takes the spotlight off Whedon and Blackman to a certain extent. The big news of the day is not now whether the Rams or the Browns or whatever they do. The big news is OSU just named an 18-year-old to quarterback the football team.
Well, yeah, and I think this was a day that Oklahoma State really had a chance to celebrate a great success story. Justin Blackman, a guy that a couple years ago nobody knew about. He was just a guy, and now he's going to be a top 10 draft pick in the NFL. Brandon Whedon, a guy that, at 28 years old, a lot of people don't believe in. He could be off the board by the end of today as well. So it's a little bit of a disservice to those guys, Barry, because, they deserved a chance to be all the buzz in OSU world. And now today they get some of that taken away. But Oklahoma State does have a quarterback. Be sure to stay with the best coverage team anywhere. Newsok.com and every day in the Oklahoman.